he's actually very lucky. He is not sick as a lot of kids that have short gut syndrome. Richard was born at 27 weeks. He weighed 1 pound, 13 ounces, and was 13 inches long. And when they're born that early, a lot of times the GI tract is not totally developed. So NEC is a very common thing to get. It's the biggest killer of preemie children because it can rampantly go through and kill the whole intestinal tract, and that's what it is. It's your intestinal tract dying and shutting down. And if you don't have an intestinal tract, then you're not going to be, not much you can do with that one. So at 13 days old, he was life-flighted to Primary Children's, and the doctor came out and said that they would open him up and see if they could fix it, and if they couldn't, that they would close him back up and I would be able to say goodbye to him. And luckily, they were able to fix it, but he was very, very sick for a very long time. He spent 3 months in the hospital. He had several heart attacks, several staph infections, things like that, because the NEC was pretty severe. When they have NEC, so for him, they cut out the pieces of the dead intestinal tract, and then they left it, and they did a colonoscopy, or not colonoscopy, it's actually an ileostomy because he didn't have that part. And they did the bag and everything to let the rest of his intestinal tract finish developing and to get stronger. So he had a bag for a while. And he lived off of TPN, which is kind of, it's not a great thing to be on constantly because it can be pretty caustic to the system and the liver, but it also will keep somebody alive without nutrition for a long, long time. So that's what he was on. And we just had to wait until he could be strong enough and his intestinal tract was strong enough to reattach everything. And they were able to reattach it, and he didn't need the bag. They were able to fix that, no more stoma, which was nice. But it also means that he doesn't digest food as easily. So on top of having masto and eosinophil, which are problems anyways, he doesn't digest food very well because he doesn't have as much gut as the rest of us do. So he doesn't have enough lower intestine to take the water out of his food. And he has a high need for water. If we don't keep him on track, then his salts and potassiums can go out and he could have a heart attack because the salt will build up, or the potassium, one of the two. It's very confusing sometimes. It also means that he doesn't gain weight very well and is generally underweight. Right now we're looking at the possibility of having a G-tube put in, which is a tube that goes into the stomach, and they put formula into it to try to get more calories into him because he's a walking skeleton and needs to be able to put on more weight.